On the 26th of December 1900, a small ship that was captained by James Harvey was making its way to the lighthouse on the small remote island of Eilean Mór, which was part of the Flannen Isles in the outer Hebrides of Scotland. As they approached, Captain Harvey sounded his horn and sent up a warning flare to attract the attention of the resident lighthouse keepers. They received no response. Joseph Mohr, a replacement lighthouse keeper on board the ship, went up the steep slopes to investigate. What he found would lead to one of the greatest mysteries in Scottish history. This is the tale of the mysterious lighthouse of Eilean Mór. Joseph Mohr had clambered up to the lighthouse once he had disembarked from his rowing boat. He could see no sign of life outside, and so he decided to investigate further. Once inside, he had an overwhelming sense of foreboding, that gut-wrenching feeling that you get when you know that something out of the ordinary has happened. He noticed that the front door was unlocked. 2 out of 3 oilskin jackets were missing. Continuing into the kitchen, he found half-eaten food, an overturned chair which seemed as though someone had jumped right out of it, and the clock had stopped. Mohr continued to search the rest of the lighthouse, but found no sign of the lighthouse keepers. He ran back to the ship to inform Captain Harvey, who subsequently ordered a search of the islands for the missing men. No one was found. Harvey quickly sent back a telegram to the mainland, which in turn was forwarded to the Northern Lighthouse Board headquarters in Edinburgh. The telegraph read, "A dreadful accident has happened at Flannen's. The 3 keepers, Ducat, Marshall and the Occasional, have disappeared from the island. On our arrival there this afternoon, no sign of life was to be seen on the island. Fired a rocket, but as no response was made, managed to land Mohr, who went up to the station but found no keepers there. The clocks were stopped, and other signs indicated that the accident must have happened about a week ago. Poor fellows, they must have been blown over the cliffs or drowned trying to secure a crane or something like that. Night coming on, we could not wait to make something as to their fate. I have left Mohr, MacDonald, Boymaster and 2 seamen on the island to keep the light burning until you make other arrangements. Will not return to abound until I hear from you. I have repeated this wire to Muirhead in case you are not at home. I will remain at the telegraph office tonight until it closes if you wish to wire me." A few days later, Robert Muirhead, the board superintendent, who both recruited and knew all 3 men personally, departed for the island to investigate the disappearances. His investigation did not find any more clues or evidence above and beyond what Joseph Mohr had already reported, except for one thing: the lighthouse's logs. Muirhead immediately noticed that the last few days of entries were unusual. On the 12th of December, Thomas Marshall, the second assistant, wrote of severe winds the likes of which I have never seen before in 20 years. He also noticed that James Ducat, the principal keeper, had been very quiet, and that the third assistant, MacArthur, had been crying. This is strange because MacArthur was a seasoned mariner and was known on the Scottish mainland as a tough brawler. Why would he be crying about a storm? Log entries for the 13th of December stated that the storm was still raging and that all 3 men had been praying. But why would 3 experienced lighthouse keepers, safely situated on a brand new lighthouse that was 150 feet above sea level, be praying for a storm to stop? They should have been perfectly safe. This is peculiar because there were no reported storms in the area on the 12th, 13th and 14th of December. In fact, the weather was calm, and the storms that were to batter the island didn't hit until December 17th. The final entry was made on the 15th of December. It simply read, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." What was meant by God is over all? After reading the logs, Muirhead's attention turned to the remaining oilskin coat that had been left in the entrance hall. Why, in the bitter cold winter, had one of the lighthouse keepers ventured out without his coat? Furthermore, why had all 3 lighthouse staff left their posts at the same time, when rules and regulations strictly prohibited it? Further clues were found down by the landing platform. Here, Muirhead noticed that ropes were strewn all over the rocks, ropes which were usually held in a brown crate 70 feet above the platform on a supply crane. Perhaps the crate had been dislodged and knocked down, and the lighthouse keepers were attempting to retrieve them when an unexpected wave came and washed them out to sea. This was the first and most likely theory, and as such Muirhead included it in his official report to the Northern Lighthouse Board. But this explanation left some people on the board unconvinced. For one, why had none of the bodies been washed ashore? Why had one of the men left the lighthouse without taking his coat, especially since this was December in the Outer Hebrides? Why had 3 experienced lighthouse keepers been taken unaware by a wave? Although these were all good questions, the most pertinent being the weather conditions at the time. The seas should have been calm. They were sure of this, as the lighthouse could be seen from the nearby Isle of Lewis, and any bad weather would have obscured it from view. Over the following decades, subsequent lighthouse keepers at Eilean Mór have reported hearing strange voices in the wind. Theories about their disappearance have ranged from foreign invaders capturing them all the way through to alien abductions. Whatever the reason for their disappearance all those years ago remains a complete mystery. I wanted to take this opportunity to wish you all an amazing 2020, and thank you to my subscribers for sticking with my channel for the last 6 months, despite the fact I haven't put any new content out in that time. It was the right thing to take a break, mainly for personal reasons. I am also excited to share new stories with you that embody everything that Strangeries is about. If you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for watching.